If you've ever been on a modern construction site, you know it's not just dirt and steel anymore. It's a data factory. But honestly, most of the time, that data feels like 1,000 puzzle pieces just dumped out of the box. Today, we're going to put that puzzle together.
So let's just dive right in with a question that, probably hits a little too close to home. Why is all this information so chaotic? You've got data pouring in from every direction, and just trying to make sense of it all can feel, well, impossible.
And this is the heart of the problem, isn't it? You've got survey files sitting in one place, machine data streaming in from your fleet over here, and who knows how many versions of the design files floating around. All this creates these digital voids, these huge gaps in what you actually know about your site. And the result? Your teams are basically looking at different versions of reality. And that leads directly to costly errors, blown schedules, and a whole lot of frustration.
But what if you could solve this puzzle? What if you could take every single one of those scattered pieces of information and bring them all together into one single unified environment? Well, the answer is creating what we call a single source of truth for the entire project.
And this is exactly where the Worksmanager Pro 3D Viewer comes in. Think of it as that common data environment. It's designed to be that single source of truth by grabbing all those different data types, your designs, your surveys, your machine data, and fusing them all into one clear visual model.
So, here's the really crucial idea. We're moving beyond a static 3D model, which is really just a snapshot. We're talking about building a 4D terrain. And that fourth dimension? It's time. This creates a living, breathing, digital model that evolves right alongside your physical job site. And here's how that fourth dimension, time, really works. The system automatically layers in data based on its timestamp. So on day 1, you've got your initial survey. That's your base layer. By week 3, your machine data has been automatically added on top, showing your progress. Then a drone flight in week 5 adds even more detail. It all gets stitched together, creating a model you can literally rewind and fast forward. It's like a time machine for your job site.
Now, a 3D surface is powerful, for sure, but at the end of the day, it's still just geometry. To give it real context, to really see what's going on, you need to layer reality right on top of it. And that means getting some high-resolution imagery in there.
This brings us to a really cool type of file called a GeoTIFF, or an ortho-image. Now, this is not just any old photo from a drone. It's been ortho-rectified, which is a fancy way of saying all the distortions from the terrain and the camera lens have been ironed out. Every single pixel is in its exact geographical spot, turning the picture into a perfectly scaled, totally measurable map of your site. And you might be thinking, okay, that sounds complicated to get in the system, but check this out. It couldn't be simpler. You literally drag and drop the file, tell it the correct date and time, which is absolutely key for that 4D timeline, and hit upload. That's it. The system does the heavy lifting.
All right, now let's see how this all comes together in what is honestly one of the most powerful features, draping. This is where we take that ortho image and wrap it directly onto our 3D terrain model. And this is where we finally solve a classic, annoying problem.
On the left, you see the old way. We call it the waterfall effect. You've probably seen this before, where your 3D design lines just kind of flow disconnectedly above a flat 2D map. It's confusing, it looks weird, and it gives you almost no context. But on the right, that's the new way, dynamic draping. That super sharp ortho image is projected perfectly onto the actual 3D surface model. And this is the result. It's no longer just an abstract surface or a flat picture. It's a photorealistic, high-resolution view of your site, textured perfectly onto the actual, accurate 3D topography. You can see every stockpile, every curb, every swale in its true 3D context. It just clicks. And look, this is way more than just a pretty picture. This is a game changer. Draping gives you that critical, real-world context. You can instantly see how the as-built conditions are lining up with your design. It creates a common language that just slashes through communication problems between the office and the field, which means fewer questions and faster approval.
So, we've unified all the data, and we've given it this amazing photorealistic context. But the real value, the real payoff, comes from what this lets you do next. It's all about making smarter decisions way faster than before.
Take the elevation heat map, for instance. With just one click, the system textures your entire 3D terrain with this color-coded gradient. So instead of trying to read a bunch of confusing contour lines, you can instantly see the site's elevation profile.
This turns your model from just a visual into a powerful analytical tool. The red areas are your highest points, the blues are your lowest. Right away, you can understand drainage patterns or figure out the most efficient haul routes before a single machine even starts its engine. We're talking huge savings in fuel and time.
And when you do need to get those exact numbers, you can measure with incredible precision right on the model. Because that ortho image is perfectly matched to the 3D surface, you can verify things like berm heights or road widths and trust that your measurements reflect what's actually on the ground. You can sign off on work with confidence and avoid those costly arguments later.
And really, that's what this is all about. The whole goal is to bridge that gap, to take the complex digital plan and merge it seamlessly with the physical reality of the job site, creating one clear, unified picture for absolutely everyone.
So let's just recap the big ideas here. First, unify all that fragmented data into a single time-based 4D model. Second, see the true context by draping those high-res ortho images right on top. And finally, analyze that model with confidence, using powerful tools to make better, faster decisions. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. When you have a tool that lets you see your site's entire history, its current state with perfect clarity, and where it's headed, you're not just monitoring progress anymore. You're gaining the foresight to actually change the future. So what decisions would you make differently with that kind of power?